Hello, welcome. This is Wendy McCroskey with Keller Williams Realty, and I'm here with Marcy with Nova Home Loans. And she's here talking to us about a couple of different things, but what I wanted you to talk about specifically in this video is closing costs and down payment cash to close.
Okay.
A lot of my buyers seem to be very confused of if they're going FHA, is the 3.5% the max cash to close, and kind of what does that mean when they're offering on properties?
Understood, Wendy. It differs from loan program to loan program, so I'm going to kind of address each one individually. I'll start with FHA since that's what you mentioned specifically.
Okay.
With FHA, there's a minimum down payment of 3.5%. Now that money can come from a variety of sources. It can come from your bank account, of course.
Okay.
It can come from a gift from a family member, you know, a parent, a brother, a sister, anyone that's related to you. It can also come from a boss, an employer. It cannot come from the seller, the real estate agent, or the lender. So that 3.5% is the down payment only. It doesn't go towards any of the closing costs. So we're going to say that's bucket A over here. So once that 3.5% has been taken care of, there are closing costs and prepaids. And by closing costs, I mean the lender fees like the credit report, the application fee if there is one, an underwriting processing fee, all the lender fees.
Okay.
Then there's also going to be an appraisal, there's going to be title, and some small county fees like a recording fee. Those go under title fees. So those are the actual closing costs. Now those can be paid by the buyer. They can also come from a gift from a relative, same as the down payment, but they can come from the seller. They can be contributed from the real estate agent or from the lender. The third bucket are the prepaids, and by prepaids I mean taxes, insurance, interest. So, for example, if your buyer's closing on the 5 days before the end of the month, they're going to have 5 days of prepaid interest. They're going to have a year of homeowners insurance and then an additional 2 months as an escrow so that we can pay their taxes and insurance as it becomes due, and then 2 months of taxes. So those are what we call prepaids.
Right.
Those can also come from the buyer, a gift, the seller, the real estate agent, the lender. The only thing that can't be contributed, again, from the seller, the real estate agent, or the lender is that down payment. That 3.5% does not change. They can put down more if they would like, but it's a bare minimum of that 3.5%. So if someone were buying a $100,000 home, the minimum they would have to come up with, regardless of what you negotiate into their contract for them, would be $3,500 on a $100,000 home.
Got it. And just to kind of clarify, when Marcy talks about gift, a gift is truly that. It's a gift that someone's giving you and does not expect to be paid back.
You got it.
Because, as you know, a lot of people say, oh, well, I'll borrow this $10,000 and pay my parents back later, or
Right.
whoever. That's part of the stipulation is using a gift. They're going to have to write the letter saying,
Exactly.
we do not expect that money back. So that's an important thing to know as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then as far as negotiating it into the contract, when we make an offer on a property, let's say, for example, using round numbers, you need $3,000 in closing costs. We're going to ask the seller for that $3,000. So let's say we can make an offer of $100,000. We're asking them for $3,000 in closing costs. You're really offering them a net amount of $97,000, if I could add up.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
So you're really offering them a net of $97,000. So that's an important thing to kind of keep in mind when you're asking for closing costs as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Wendy is a great negotiator on those contracts. She's going to let you know if it's a property that you're able to negotiate closing costs, or if you really think that the offer is going to be a lot stronger by the buyer maybe asking for a larger gift from whoever they're getting their down payment from. Wouldn't you say that's accurate?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sometimes it's better if you have somebody to get a little bit more of a gift from. And then HUD homes especially, I have a lot of luck asking for a little less. So if you need 3%, you just offer 2%, ask for 2% instead of 3%, and you might beat out another buyer just by offering for 1% less.
Exactly. And it's really important to communicate with both Wendy and with me as your loan officer to know what your true goals are, so that we can make sure we structure the financing and the negotiating of the contract so that it mirrors what you're looking for. That's what we're here for.
Exactly, what your payment is and how much you'd like to bring cash total to closing with your down payment and your closing costs.